Hello, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us here on Midday Live with me, AC Benewa Nyame. You can be part of this news. Join us on our Facebook page. You can also log on to our Twitter and on our WhatsApp pages. Let's move on straight to our very first story. And the government of South Sudan is accusing the UN mission in the country of shirking its mandates and failing to uphold the status of focus forces arrangement agreement reached between the South Sudan government and the UN. A statement issued by South Sudan has said. Well, let's now speak with Adam Bona, who is joining us via Skype to speak to us on this particular developing story here on Bulletin. So we can speak to. Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Bona. Thanks for joining us.
Viewers, yeah.
Well, so what do you make of this current situation?
Well, I am not surprised. I am not surprised at all. If you take a critical look at the press statement or the press release from the government of South Sudan to the UN or the UN mission in Sudan, you would realize the frustration on the part of what you call it, the government of South Sudan. With regards to delays in dealing with some of the reported abuse on the part of UN agencies that have been sent there to take care of the situation. It is not the first time. If you know, usually when the UN, the United Nations, is caught in some of these activities, the process of investigating and bringing finality to some of these issues become another thing. And so I am not surprised. I am not surprised at all, but I would hope that the UN would expedite, what do you call it, would fast track the investigation processes so that at the end of the day, public opinion in Southern Sudan will not turn against the UN agencies that are working to help bring the situation there under control.
Well, so we know that, the statement talks about the fact that there are some kidnappings and killings and all that. Are you surprised that the UN is even aware that such things are ongoing under their watch?
The UN is aware. I think on your network is one of the first I spoke to with regards to, what do you call it, this information that started unfolding. It didn't start today. I got information on this the latter part of December 2017, but I couldn't have spoken about it because my contacts in South Sudan had told me the authorities in South Sudan had written to the UN in the US, hoping that they would respond, but it looks like it's delaying, and if they are not careful, there could be some form of uprising against the UN agencies working in there. And in fact, he did mention to me, my contact, someone I work with in, what I do, he gave me a lot of information. And so with the UN, when you are dealing with the UN, if you know what happens, we've had a lot of conflicts especially in Africa, Kosovo, in other places, and the UN was, criticized heavily for not, dealing with the situation timely, waited till probably the situation got out of hand. If you read the report, it didn't specifically mention Ghana, but you realize the 46, 46 UNMIS, officers have been pulled to Juba, and so they are praying that the UN would not export them out of, out of South Sudan or out of Sudan. Okay. They want thorough investigations to be conducted. But it is also refreshing to note that when finally the UN took some form of action, the Ghana police didn't also arrest. What they did, well, I'm aware they wrote to the UN requesting to send three observer team to, what do you call it, to join the investigation. And I'm also aware, that the UN has granted them that right to send 3 people. And I'm also aware that this week, the 3 police officers who are supposed to go and aid with the investigation will be departing the shores of this country to go and aid with the investigations. I am praying that at the end of the day, if our officers who are involved would be exonerated, but if not all of them are exonerated, those who are found to be culpable should be punished, I'm sure, by international laws, and probably that of Southern Sudan. With the kidnappings, it tells you that the UN itself is made up of human beings, and therefore it is not the first time we've heard about the UN sending peace officers or security officers to conflict-prone areas, and some of these things happen. But at the end of the day, the UN is all we have at the moment in terms of dealing with some of these things at the international level. If you want to talk about the UN is the final. I mean, if you come to Africa, we have ECOWAS. In West Africa, we would have ECOWAS and we would have the AU. We have the Southern Africans have something, but we have the AU when you come in. So it is like that. I wouldn't say the US is not performing as it has to perform. The UN is so big, and so monitoring becomes a problem. And the UN would have to depend on countries like ours to be able to perform its tasks. But if officers are sent out, if agencies, even in Haiti, in other places, and so these things are not new. Those of us who are into the areas of security and safety, it is not new, but I'm hoping that there won't be any revolt against the UN, because then when that happens, the situation will move from bad to worse.
Well, thanks so much, Adam Bonner, for your thoughts on this particular issue. We are so grateful to you. I have been speaking with Adam Bonner, and he is safety and security expert, bringing us some information on UN mission in South Sudan. This is still Midday Live. Let's move on to other stories. And 4 persons are reported dead, and 4 more are in critical condition following a meal of corn flour they ate in a village in Sogakope in the Volta region. The 4 in critical condition are unable to speak, and doctors say their chances of survival is very small. The 8 are reported to have been victims of food poisoning. Well, information from an eyewitness alleged a corn mill in town is the likely source of the poisoning, since they all ate food made from corn flour. The incident has been reported to the police and have been informed and have been commenced investigations. The Food and Drugs Authority in Accra has also been told and are informed and are investigating the issue. Well, that's a worrying situation over there. We'll get more in our subsequent bulletin. You stay tuned on to. And most residents in Accra went about their normal duties as sanitary workers and volunteers cleaned up their neighborhoods. The residents say their action is a protest over the failure of city authorities to ensure that garbage collected during such exercises ends up at the final disposal sites.
The early hours of Saturday morning, a cleanup exercise led by the Metropolitan Chief Executive, Mohammed Ajay Sowa, and other officials of the Assembly. All business activities were supposed to be on hold until 10 a.m. when the exercise ends. But some traders at Kaneshie and environs paid no heed. They went about their regular activities, saying they were waiting for the AMA team to clean up the place. At midday, the news team visited some areas to see the outcome. This is Abotokai. and this gutter is supposed to have been desilted.
And not the but
We have desilted, but because of the water, we are unable to go down to do it properly.
It is choked with plastics, but we don't have the necessary equipment to clear them. This is the best we could do.
It was worse at Zongo Junction, Mataheko, and Sukura. Garbage from the gutters was yet to be collected to the final disposal sites. People sat by choked gutters, going about their business with no intention of taking part in the exercise.
So just come and announce, but coming for the rubbish become a problem. Most of them did not do it. When you go down there, you can see that no one has even collected it. Has even removed his or her rubbish from the gutter. Because the other time they promised they will come around, they didn't do it. The rubbish was all over on the streets. So you would have to spend money and do that.
Yeah. I'm a fan. Yeah, it is a shoe, and so your apprentice, Yaniska, you got a mumbola. No man, I say you got any moon.
Muniru has been paid by shop owners here to clear the debris.
Also, a man can see
So people like Muniru are also cautioning on the situation because the AMA and other authorized institutions that are mandated to carry the waste collected are not doing so, and so they also take it as an opportunity to clear them and then get paid. But that is one of the challenges that is affecting patronage of the National Sanitation Day across the cities. For these residents at Mamprobi, it was news to them that today was Sanitation Day.
I forgot, Mom, but
you know that first Saturday of every month is a National Sanitation Day.
Yeah, I know it.
So today, did you clean?
Since we have things to do, that's why I forgot to, because my focus is on the things that I want to do.
The street in front of Kolebu was also dotted with waste from the cleanup exercise yet to be collected. The Sanitation Day exercise would not be taken serious if these issues are not addressed. Catherine Frimpoma, TV3, Accra.
Meanwhile, the Sanitation and Water Resources Minister Kofi Adda has tasked Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executive to get those who flout sanitation bylaws arrested and prosecuted. He spoke to the media after the cleanup exercise, which comes days after being criticized for failing at his job to keep the nation clean.
Of Zumla in Ghana, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the military and other security agencies took part in the exercise to rid the city of filth. The group desilted gutters, cleared weeds and evacuated refuse at various parts in the 4-hour exercise. Shops were closed following the Metropolitan Assembly's directive to ensure more people participated. Apathetic residents joined when the Assembly task force went round on inspection. The Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Kofi Adda, said his ministry will collaborate with all the assemblies to ensure improvement in sanitation.
It shouldn't be a 9-day wonder. You should not just call it Sanitation Day, where we all come out one day, like the former president used to do, clean on a Saturday of the month, and go back. And maybe some will even wait, next Saturday they will bring the waste, we'll bring it out there. The chief executive and her staff, and make sure that you are here every day, or every often as you can, to monitor and report on that.
The Accra Metropolitan Chief Executive, Mohamed Ajay Sowa, said the Assembly will vigorously enforce the sanitation bylaws.
Next week, we have had support of pickups, and we are deploying the pickups to continue with the enforcement. Those who litter the streets of Accra, the pickup, which is branded Clean Accra Project, task force inside, will arrest people and prosecute people who litter the streets of Accra.
The executive chairman of Jospon Group of Companies, Joseph Ejapon-Sian, requested the assemblies to ensure that every household gets a litter bin.
I'm pleading that the authorities of the districts and the city, the mayors, the DCEs, must enforce their bylaws that we will come and inspect that whether you have a dustbin. Currently, Zoomlion has a manufacturing plant that produces the dustbin, and we want to distribute about 2 million dustbins free.
And away from sanitation issues, Vice Chairman of Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade, Industry and Tourism, Engineer Panford Atto, has called for the stationing of safety and environmental protection officers at Kintampo Waterfalls following the tragedy there last year. The Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade, Industry and Tourism has undertaken a fact-finding tour of the Kintampo Waterfalls, where the tragedy struck in March last year, involving dozens of school children. A report by Larry Parkwisi Moses.
The committee, led by its chairman Anamafo Amenyampong, first had a meeting with the Kintampo North Municipal Assembly and traditional leaders. They shared ideas and made suggestions on improving safety and sustenance of tourist sites in the Kintampo area. These include extending the buffer zone of the waterfalls, planting of trees and checking bush burning in the catchment area. The Kontihene of Kintampo, Nana Owusu Pinkra, summed up the concerns of traditional authorities.
An environmental group has been formed to promote the preservation of water bodies. So we want government to also support this worthy cause.
The Fula Falls, which lies 8 kilometers west of Kintampo, is one of the 2 major waterfalls in the municipality. The committee members, in the company of the traditional authorities, visited the site where water flow had declined due to the dry season. The committee later toured the 3 stages which form the waterfalls. It takes 153 steps to descend into the 3rd stage of the waterfall, where last year's disaster claimed 18 lives and injured more than 20 others. Chairman of the Parliamentary Fact-Finding Committee, Nanamafo Amenyampong, said the exercise will inform Parliament to consider the speedy passage of the Ghana Tourist Authority LI.
The way the accident happened, I think if few things had been in place, probably the extent of casualty would have been minimized. Hopefully, when we make our report, we'll come up with issues which have not been properly addressed to our satisfaction, and I think they will take up from there.
Vice Chairman of the committee, Engineer Panford Atto, called for the stationing of safety and environmental protection officers at the site.
The work done here is satisfactory, but I think we should put the safety issues in here. I've made a recommendation that, at least safety, health and environmental officer must be employed at all the tourist attraction areas.
The committee also called on the Bruno Ahafo Regional Minister Kwiku Asomachreme and interacted with heads of collaborative agencies like NADMO, the National Fire Service and the police.
Well, to another worrying situation, but viewers are cautioned that the pictures may be disturbing. At least 6 people have been confirmed dead and 18 others injured after 2 vehicles, a Hyundai bus and a Sprinter bus, collided at Gumwa Domnase on the Winneba to Accra highway. The accident is reported to have occurred around 6 p.m. on Saturday, March 3. An eyewitness who spoke to Kwame Kabraba of 3 News said the Hyundai bus with registration number GX289417, which was heading towards Winneba from Kaswa, collided with a Sprinter bus, but registered GS87012 after overtaking a trailer. He also disclosed that the deceased were apparently returning from a funeral. The Gomwa East District Police say 18 others who sustained injuries were sent to the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Center for treatment with the help of the Ghana National Fire Service. The bodies of the deceased have also been deposited at the hospital's morgue awaiting autopsy. In a related development, 2 persons sustained various degrees of injury and 1 missing as a mini truck collided with 2 motorbikes at Alajo Junction Sunday morning. The mini truck was on its way to Insuom with sacks of onion when the accident occurred. According to the driver, the 2 motorbikes stopped in his lane, chatting at the tip of a hill climbing from the underpass. He said his attempt to switch into the opposite lane was impeded by a speeding private car from behind, hence the crash. One of the motor riders and the driver may sustain varying degrees of injuries and were rushed to the hospital. But the whereabouts of the second bike was not known, as at the time this reporter was leaving the scene. It was not clear what the 2 bikers were doing in the middle of the road. But the driver, upon seeing cameras, removed the number plates of his vehicle. MTTD personnel from Tesano Division responded to the distress call to help clear the road for traffic and to commence investigations into the incident. Well, so the catchword is we have to be cautious on our roads to minimize or end these accidents. This is still Midday Live with me, AC Benewa Otu. Let's move on to other stories. And handicraft dealers in the Bolgatanga municipality of the Upper East region want the craft village project completed. Majority of them remain scattered in various markets across the municipality following lack of space and other facilities yet to be provided. The craft village was put up in 2003 by the Municipal Assembly with funding from the Ministry of Trade and Industry. It was intended to promote the African heritage as well as tourism in Ghana with a view to mobilize revenue for national development. This is only phase 1 of the project and cannot accommodate the entire craft dealers within the municipality. Others, including blacksmiths, those who deal in smoke and baskets, are still scattered in different markets.
Initially, we were told there's going to be a second phase built up to complete, and the smoke weavers will also join us here so that all the craft will be unique. But unfortunately, that's not what is happening now.
A restaurant, barbering salon, internet cafe, restrooms, a drugstore and shopping mall are yet to be constructed, a situation which has led to low patronage. Another worrying trend is lack of interest in handicrafts by locals.
Here we hardly see customers come around. Because of the place is not completed, people don't even know that something like this is existing here.
There are also products from Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Nigeria, Egypt and other African countries. Information gathered indicates that the Assembly cannot complete the project from its internally generated funds. Meanwhile, funding organizations are yet to respond to the Assembly's numerous proposals. The Northern Regional Security Council has destroyed 14 tipper trucks and 1 excavator belonging to one sand winner in the Northern region. The trucks were set ablaze by a military team and arrived in Dalong, a suburb of Kumbungu, about 10 p.m. after the owners defied a one-week ultimatum given by the RESC when they visited the site on December 11, 2017, after a report was made by the Ghana Water Company. The one-week ultimatum ended on December 12, 2017, but operators did not budge as they continued to wane sand from the river. This complete disregard of the one-week ultimatum compelled RESC to storm the site on the evening of Saturday, February 3, 2018, 3 months after the ultimatum elapsed. Meanwhile, the Association of Tipper Truck Owners in Tamale have indicated they will embark on a demonstration later today. Stay with us. We have more coming up after this. Thanks for staying with us. The Inspector General of Police, David Asante Apietu, has assured residents of Sankore in the Isunafo South District of the Bonahafo region of adequate security. Residents lament they live in constant fear of politically orchestrated attacks and violence. A report by my colleague Pa Kwesi Moses.
Sankore has gained notoriety for political violence. Thugs and fanatics of the two major political parties, the NPP and the NDC, have often been at each other's throats despite efforts by the police to ensure peace prevails in the area. In April 2015, the police and military had to be deployed to the town following bloody clashes after supporters of the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party, the Bonahafo Regional Police Commander DCOP Tichipoko, explained measures to curb the politically motivated violence.
We're trying to beef up the strength at Sankore, and the RCC has also promised that barracks will be built for the police in the near future. I hope with all this done, you will be able to address the violent situation.
He gave the assurance during a working visit of the IGP, David Asante Apietu, to assess the security situation in the region. The IGP commended the security agencies, traditional authorities and other stakeholders for collectively working to reduce crime rate in the region. The IGP explained how to achieve a world-class police service in the face of local conflicts, political violence and the nomadic herdsmen menace, among others.
And the people of the area should start preaching peace. From today, we shouldn't sit down and wait until the election day, the trouble begins. No, this is something all of us, including the police, will have to work together to maintain the peace that we are enjoying today, so that it will be different when the elections are ongoing.
An embattled Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Nana Obri-Boahen, has apologized to the President and the leadership of the New Patriotic Party for what he describes his indiscretion in making unsavory comments about the party. In a widely circulated leaked tape, the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP alleged the presidency allocated 50 billion cedis towards the 2017 NPP National Delegates Congress. Nana Obri-Boahen adds he has learnt lessons from the heavily edited, secretly recorded and intentionally mutilated audio. We can speak to the man now who joins us on phone. Good afternoon, Nana Obri-Boahen. Thanks for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, so we are grateful for joining us. So, first of all, this tape came out nearly a week ago. So, why are you now apologizing?
No further comment. Just that I should behave responsibly and as a mature person. I think that this highly doctored, highly mutilated, highly mimicked, fraudulently recorded, secretly recorded, the content thereof, and whatever circumstances, I think that to be fair and reasonable to render an unqualified apology.
Are you saying that it was uttered? Was it not your voice that was on that tape?
I don't want to go into the details. I'm saying that it's highly doctored, fraudulently mutilated, highly mimicked, voice mimicked, secretly recorded. That is all.
Well, so is your apology a ploy to escape your disciplinary proceedings? I'm asking if the apology is a ploy to escape your disciplinary proceedings that have been initiated against you by the party.
The reception is not good.
Yeah, Nana, if you can position yourself very well, it looks like there's a bit of noise where you are. I'm asking, is this a ploy to escape disciplinary action from the party?
No, I'm saying I'm a human being, I'm a mature person. I have advisors I've cancelled. Please, I don't want to go to details. It's okay. That is all. Thank you very much.
Well, so, okay, finally, before I let you go, what do you say to... All right, so we have lost Nana Obri Boahen. He is General Secretary of the NPP. We were speaking to him on issues concerning his leaked tape. We have lost him on the line. Probably we'll get him back or in a subsequent bulletin for more on that. Let's do other stories. And cocoa farmers at Abisim in the East Akyem municipality of the Eastern region wants government to make subsidized cocoa input available and accessible. They said although inputs have been subsidized, they were unable to buy more. A report by Yvonne Nikwe, and that's coming up in our business segment.
The business segment is brought to you by
Abisim is a predominantly farming community with cocoa cultivation as the mainstay of the people. Their inability to buy input, the farmers claim, is affecting cocoa production. Some of the farmers say they are producing below their potential due to the unavailability of input. The farmers want subsidized fertilizers, pesticides, among others, readily available on the market and support to get the input for their farms. The cocoa farmers also appealed for modern equipment to enable them expand their farms.
We
do not get fertilizer for our cocoa. This has affected production. We plead with government to make fertilizers available.
I can say, yes, I'm good cocoa, so I can hit me go 3 times, but
we are supposed to apply the fertilizer 3 times, but we do that only once due to the lack of it.
Say about beso me moi metimiti go be at a sound yama metiminya be 20 bas. They say about beso poto metiminya be 40 bas.
We plead with government to make fertilizers available.
Most of the cocoa farmers are aged, threatening the future sustainability of the cash crop. Government intends to record an increased production of 1 million tons.
In other business news, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has impounded a cargo truck carrying 45 drams of uncustomized ethyl alcohol at Techiman in the Bonahafo region. Excise duty on the consignment is estimated at 35,000 cedis. The truck with registration number AS 5135X was impounded following a tip-off. The consignment was concealed in 107 drums to avoid payment of duty.
The duty element of this item, which are about 45, drums, is about 35,000, which have been lost, but for the vigilance of this good citizen of Ghana who gave it the information.
The sector commander appealed to the public to assist in volunteering information on criminal activities.
We are calling on all Ghanaians to help us do what they expect us to do. Say that we shouldn't allow some few to damage the nation. The revenue is what is badly needed to help us build the roads, the hospitals, sustain our hospitals and all those things. And if we allow some few to maximize their own profit at the expense of all Ghanaians, I think we are all losing.
Alcohol is classified among goods which attract high duty. Traders therefore resort to various means to evade the payment of taxes. Thierry Nyan joins us shortly with sports. Stay with us. Let's do international news now. And Italians are voting after a decisive campaign dominated by concerns over immigration and the economy. Correspondents say it is hard to say who will come out on top in an unpredictable contest. The anti-established Five-Star Movement ruling Democratic Party and ex-Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi's right-wing coalition have all predicted victory. Up next is entertainment news. Two-time Ghana Music Awards winner Sarkodie topped the 2018 nominations list, grabbing 8 categories, including the topmost honors artist of the year.
After a suspense-filled early announcement of categories, the VGMA's board on Saturday night announced nominees for the 3 topmost categories: Artist of the Year, Album of the Year, and Song of the Year. The battle lines have now been drawn. Sarkodie, Joe Mettle, the late dancehall songstress Ebony Rains, Shatta Wale, and Stonebwoy will be competing for the ultimate honors 2017 Artist of the Year. At the end of the VGMA's nominees announcement party, rapper Sarkodie grabbed 8 nominations to top the 2018 list. The rapper secured places in the Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, and Album of the Year.
The game was so tough. I remember the pain and oh Lord.
Reigning VGMA's Artist of the Year, Joe Mettle, followed, earning nominations in 7 categories with his 2017 release Bononi.
Champion, yeah. Machine. We move and them never know.
After 3 years of being blacklisted, the man who does it clean and dirty, Shatta Wale, is back on the VGMA's nominations list. Shatta Wale and his label mate Stonebwoy grabbed 6 nominations each, booking places in the Artist of the Year category. The 2017 sensation and the 90s bad girl of blessed memory, Ebony Rains, Davy Hitmaker, Miss V, and Odo singer Kiddy earned 6 nominations each. The 19th VGMAs will take place at the Accra International Conference Center on April 14, 2018.
In a related development, dancehall act Jupiter is unhappy about the scheme's decision to exclude his clown's record, which won an award in the UK. Moments after the nomination list was released, the Money Box hitmaker registered his disappointment to his 77,000 Twitter followers. Jupiter's tweet read, VGMA board, you are all a bunch of idiots and hypocrites. I submitted this time, and it was a song that actually won big in UK. Clowns, keep it up. And I quote again, you are all jokers and you are messing up the game big time. So a song that won big in UK don't stand a chance for just a nomination. And Frankie Curry, close friend of award-winning dancehall icon Ebony Rains, has been laid to rest. The burial service of late Frankie Curry, friend of dancehall artist Ebony Rains, took place on Saturday, March 3, 2018 in Kwashiman here in Accra. Personalities present at the burial service were the late Ebony's parents, Nana Poku Kwarteng and Madame Beatrice Opon, and renowned international evangelist Dr. Lawrence Tete. Well, that's all we have for you by way of news this afternoon. Thanks so much for watching. My name is AC Benewa Nyame. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a good afternoon.